What's up? My name is Pierre Meji. I'm out here in Marfa, Texas. So real quick, a little bit about myself. So you know, like I'm a normal, sane person. I am a real estate agent. I have a real estate company. I have over 700 real estate students enrolled in my academy. So you could say I'm just like a typical entrepreneur and nothing really about me is like woo-woo. But I have been sort of like gifted with having something called spontaneous OBEs. And this is something I've kind of been contemplating on making a video about and uploading because it's just so weird and like 99% of people aren't even going to believe what I'm talking about. Also, it might make me look bad like professionally with my business career and everything. But you know, after a few years of just kind of learning more about like what was happening to me my whole life with these spontaneous OBEs and finding out what the heck an OBE even is in the first place and realizing it was exactly what was happening to me my entire life as a kid. Ever since I was 6 years old all the way up to like 24 is when I realized it was an OBE. I'm 30 years old now. One day this year I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to upload a YouTube video and then just see if I can connect with any kind of like-minded individuals where this phenomena might have been happening to them as well, right? Because I literally haven't met a single person in my life where this actually happened to them, like someone that truly experienced an OBE. And so this is kind of like my attempt to like upload this YouTube video, hopefully connect with people where this has happened in their lives truly. So yeah, let's go over like what the heck an OBE is, what my experience was like as it was happening to me. It's actually really interesting and a crazy story. Like my sister thought I was possessed when I was stuck in the initiation phase. My mom thought I had night terrors, and then my dad thought I had epilepsy like my whole life. But really it was none of those things. I was just getting random spontaneous OBEs, which is a natural like superpower that everyone has. Some people just happens to them more often, and then others have to like train for a long time and do it at will. So I think this is gonna be a really interesting video. One thing I will say for like the 99% of people that just will not believe any of this is all of this is real, 100%. I am a very scientific person. Like I like to look at data and proof for stuff, right? And the only reason I would ever buy into something like this is because it actually happened to me, so I got to live it. Anyway, so just keep that in mind. Like this whole story is coming from someone that is, you know, heavily involved in business and real estate. I really respect science. My personality is very data driven. So like for me to upload a video like this, 100% is actually happening. It's true. Okay. Anyways, let's get into the video and hopefully you learn something if you've never heard of this phenomena before. You know those movies where the kid is possessed? The mom thinks it's night terrors, the dad thinks it's epilepsy, and the sister is convinced it's demonic possession? Yeah, so that was my actual childhood. What nobody realized, including me, was that I was having full-blown out-of-body experiences spontaneously, starting around 6 years old, and it went on for almost 2 decades before I finally found out what the hell was going on. Today I want to walk you through what an OBE actually is, tell you the first vivid time I actually remember floating at my bedroom ceiling, watching myself like grind my teeth, and then show you why I think everyone should at least consider exploring this for themselves. If you stick around to the end of this video, we're also going to hint at something even stranger than OBEs in the first place. And it's something I call like level 2 or like your higher self. That's where things go from like weird with the whole OBE to like a cosmic glitch in the Matrix. Here's the deal. Before I get into my story, let's hit like the basics. What is an OBE? An out-of-body experience is when your normal sense of, yeah, I'm inside my body, flips and your awareness like pops out of you. You feel like you're in a second body of some sort or just a point of consciousness, usually floating above or beside your physical body. At least that's how it started with me. And now before you get to the point of like actual soul to body separation, you go through this insane phase called the initiation stage. It's important to know that people from around the world, they report the same things, which are, number one, intense vibrations through the whole body. The next part is super loud noises, like a jet engine going off in your skull, even though the room is quiet. The next thing people note is flashes of light, color. For me, it was like red, yellows, greens, and then colors you don't even have a name for. The next thing is sleep paralysis is reported. That stuck feeling right before you like separate. And for most people, this initiation stage is terrifying. For a long time, I lived in that stage because it would just happen spontaneously for me for decades without having any idea what it actually was. My mom thought I had night terrors after she took me to the doctor. My dad thought I had some form of epilepsy. My sister thought I was like just battling demonic possession.
You start just acting like with paranoia, just running from one side to the other, covering your ears, looking at me, but it seemed that you were seeing me.
It would happen usually in the middle of the night, and he wasn't there, but he'd be there.
What do you mean I wasn't there?
It didn't seem like you were conscious. Your eyes were like, it felt as if fixed.
I was a ghost?
Yeah, it felt as if your body was there, but your soul was not in your body.
Meanwhile, I'm just in bed like, why does my skull feel like a jet is going off like an airport runway? And this would like wake me right on up from bed. I just like stand up and be like, oh my God, it's so loud. What the hell is happening? Let's take a pause here. I have to like explain and demonstrate what actually happens when you get a spontaneous OBE. Okay, it's really not fun. It's kind of sad. For like almost 2 decades, it was a really sad part of my life because I didn't understand what it is. And just like anything in life, when something is great, but you don't really understand it, it becomes sad because you're afraid of it, right? That's like most things in life. So for me, I didn't know I was, spontaneously having OBEs, which is a positive thing. There's so much you can learn, overcome just doing out-of-body exploration and having those experiences. But when you don't know what they are and you get trapped in the initiation stage, it is really, really scary. I really want to just demonstrate like what happens, right? So here's a bed. You're laying down completely asleep in bed. And this isn't like a gradual thing that you kind of like wake up and you're like, oh, the vibrations. No, man. When the initiation stage hits, it happens because when you're at like, homeostasis, you're at like a default vibration. And in order to like start the initiation stage right before you separate, you have to raise your vibration. Now, I'm a weird person. This would happen spontaneously. So I would be asleep and randomly my spiritual vibrations would like rise in the middle of the night. And then I would be in the middle of the initiation stage. So I'd be completely asleep like this. And I would wake up like this. Boom. And I shoot up like that. And I'm like, what is going? There's a jet engine in the room, but really the room is quiet. Seeing flashes and like zoom in, zoom out of like red, yellow, magenta, all these weird colors. And so it's an aggressive, violent, like you pop out of bed and you're like, oh. And then I'm trying to do everything I can to like stop it because I don't know what is actually happening. My parents and my family, they'd see me run and sprint through the room because another thing that happens during the initiation stage is that you start feeling lighter, like you start losing connection with your physical body. So you don't feel like your weight. Like I weigh like over 200 pounds. You stop feeling your weight. And then another thing that's weird is in the initiation stage, you're kind of like have one foot in the astral plane and another foot like in reality, in physical reality. And so what starts messing with you is time, because time and space starts going away. And so the only way I can explain this in like a logical way, like I would think that I'd be dealing with this for like 1 hour and I would look at my phone and it would be like 2 minutes has gone by because you're like halfway in astral, halfway in here, but it starts freaking you out because you're not totally separated yet. And so one of the things I would do just throughout my teen years, in my 20s, to like try to cope with this, because I didn't read any books. I didn't know I was having an OBE and I was just stuck in the initiation phase. Some things that I would do to cope would be to like make myself throw up. When I started growing up, I'm like, if I throw up, it just for some reason stops. So I would go run and I would hit the toilet and I would just like put a towel down all while I'm like in the initiation stage. And I would like gag myself to try to throw up. The reason over time when I started reading about OBEs, I realized that like the reason that helps is because when you try to force yourself to experience a very human experience, the whole initiation stage starts fading away because you're experiencing such a physical experience. So for me, I would just make myself throw up and you'd be like, and you're in this like very human physical experience. And so when I would throw up, I would just throw up and then it would stop. The initiation stage would stop. Okay. Again, remember, I didn't even know I was going through an OBE in the first place. I just had to find coping mechanisms when it would hit me in the middle of the night. And sometimes I would have 4 spontaneous OBEs for the week. And like my poor mom would like never sleep and she didn't know what to do. She'd just like hold my hand. One time she tried to slap me out of it. It didn't work. I did everything. She was like, just pray to God. I would sit there and pray, and that really wouldn't help that much. But yeah, so that's what the initiation stage is like. I wanted to give you a demonstration. It's really not fun stuff unless you get educated, right? And then make it a positive thing. So all I really had to do to like not go through all the craziness I put my family through is just like, once I got the vibrations and I'm laying down, all you're supposed to do is just like accept it and then submit to it. Let the vibrations fill your whole body. And then just while the noise is happening in your head, you're supposed to demand separation. So you're supposed to like lay down and then you're in the initiation stage. And you're supposed to say separation now or something similar. You just kind of say that in your head, then you can just separate. And once you separate, there is no more loud noises or tingly feeling, and then it's peaceful and cool. And you can go explore and stuff. So yeah, let's get back to the video. I would literally wake up from bed when the initiation stage happened, and I would wake up as a kid and be like, oh my God, why is everything so loud? What the hell is happening? So for the longest time, nearly 2 decades, I just thought my nights were broken. Let me take you back to my first strong memory that really burned itself into my mind like forever. All right, so I'm a kid, maybe 6 or 7 years old. I'm asleep in my bed and it's dark, the house is quiet. Then the initiation stage hits. The vibrations show up first. My whole body's buzzing, like every cell is plugged into an outlet, is how I can explain it. And I hear this roar in my head like a jet engine starting up. And then, so my heart's pounding, but my body, it won't like move. I kind of have paralysis a bit, so I'm locked in. Then, in an instant, from all the crazy noise and flashes of color, it's like silence. I feel light, like way too light, and then suddenly I realize I'm not even in my body anymore. I'm at the ceiling. I'm literally floating up near the top of my bedroom, kind of pressed up to where like the wall and the ceiling meet, just there. And when I look down, I see myself. My little kid body is like lying in bed, and I'm just casually watching myself sleep. And the strange thing is that at first it feels weirdly normal. Like, oh, okay, like I'm doing this. I remember seeing myself grinding my teeth while I was sleeping, and I had this super calm thought, like, it's gonna sound weird, but like I was an older version of myself watching a little kid. You gotta remember, like when you separate and you're in the astral plane, space and time don't even exist. It only applies in the physical realm. So I'm like older, but I'm watching myself sleep, and I'm thinking to myself, man, I really should stop grinding my teeth when I'm sleeping. That's gotta not be good for me. I'm literally giving myself health advice from the ceiling. I can feel the bed under my body, and at the same time, I know I'm on the ceiling at the top of the room. 2 perspectives, one down there and then one like up in the ceiling, and both feel real. And that's the moment the reality hit me. Wait, how am I in 2 places at once? And the second I asked that question to myself, I got scared, and just like a rubber band snapped, I'm back into my body. And you hear other people around the world reporting this too. When you're in your astral form or your spirit or soul, whatever what you want to call it, right? When you freak yourself out, it's like you snap back into your body. In one instant, you get slammed into your physical body, like a full body jolt, like something dropped me from the ceiling right back into myself. It's really hard to explain. So when that happened, I woke up, I'm like wide awake, staring at the ceiling that like just a moment ago I was floating up into. The super important thing I want to say is that there was no dream vibe, no fuzziness. It felt as if like how you feel when you're awake. So 100%, this was not a dream. And remember, at the time, I had no vocabulary for it. No spiritual structure, no astral projection, no OBE. I didn't even know what that was. Just raw, vivid experience. All right, so let's just pause the video right now for a second, okay? I know this sounds ridiculous, completely ridiculous. It sounds like a Netflix series, not a Tuesday night in a regular child's bedroom. And you're absolutely allowed to think right now, like, bro, what are you even saying? Like, that's fair. But here's the part that made me take this deadly seriously later on in life, almost 2 decades later. When I finally started reading about OBEs, all of the details matched exactly, down to the vibrations in my stomach, the sounds, the colors, and the feeling of like being in 2 places at once, and then getting freaked out and snapping back into your body. That's when all of this stopped being a weird story and turned into something I had to understand about myself. Fast forward to my early 20s. I'm still having these episodes. Vibrations, roaring, sleep paralysis. Sometimes I get out, sometimes I just get stuck in that initiation stage. Paranoid and uncomfortable, begging to wake up. Like, not tonight, universe, I've got stuff to do in the morning. My mom still thinks night terrors. My sister still thinks like something's really dark about you, Pierre, and something's messing with you. My dad, though, reads this book and says, you should look into something called an out-of-body experience. My dad's like, I really think might be what's happening to you. So I do. The first big one I get my hands on is the book called The Secret of the Soul: Using Out-of-Body Experiences to Understand Our True Nature by William Buhlman. He's known in the OBE world, and this book collects stories and patterns from thousands of people all over the world. Then I find the book Out-of-Body Exploring: A Beginner's Approach, which is more of a hands-on explorer's journey and guide to actually do it. As I'm reading these books, I'm having this wild experience where every single classic OBE symptom that they're describing is exactly what I've been living with for years. Full body vibrations, the roaring in your head, like jet engine sounds, flashes of color, including those weird reds, yellows, greens, and almost magenta tones, that stuck paranoid feeling in the pre-exit stage or the initiation stage, the sense of being in 2 places at once. I'm sitting there like, did this guy break into my childhood and start taking notes? Like, where's the time machine? Those books, plus a lot of other research and books, gave my experiences language and context. Finally, they also gave the whole topic of OBEs some credibility, because these weren't random like Reddit posts. These were people who had done decades of exploration and documented thousands of cases of others doing OBEs. Now, to be clear, science doesn't have a neat final explanation for OBEs. Some people think it's purely brain-based, others think it's consciousness leaving the body somehow. Personally, my experiences are so real and so consistent that for me, it feels like I'm actually stepping out of my body, completely separated. Also, how do you explain seeing yourself? You know, so something's going on. Either way, it changed my life forever. So why would anyone want to mess with this? Why would you try to initiate OBEs on purpose instead of just hoping that they go away? Here's why I think it's one of the most powerful things a human can experience ever. Reason number 1, this one's huge, okay? Instant loss of the fear of death. This is the big one. When you floated above your own body and realized, hey, I'm still me and I'm still conscious and my body's just over there, something fundamentally rewires. Death stops being this endless like black hole where you're deleted, right? And starts looking more like a change of channel. You don't just believe in life after death because some organized religion or person told you to. You've tasted what not in the body actually feels like. That removes a level of fear that most people carry their whole entire lives until they die. Reason 2, you realize you're more than just your body. It's one thing to say, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. It's another thing to literally float at your ceiling and feel it. So you're not just saying it, you're like living it. That experience of I'm still me, but that thing in the bed is also me breaks your brain in the best way. You suddenly understand that you're not just this meat suit. Reason number 3, you feel closer to God, or source is what I like to call God. I use the word source a lot because it makes more sense. We'll talk about that in another video. But every time you step out, okay, it's like you're stepping out of the costume and walking a little closer to the backstage of actual reality. You can call it God, source, the universe, whatever. Each OBE adventure makes that connection feel less abstract and more real. You start to feel guided instead of just random. Reason number 4, you can literally fly and shape. Okay, all right. I know this sounds insane and woo-woo, but just humor me, because a friendly reminder, all of this is 100% true and I lived it. Otherwise, I've never uploaded this video. So the reason is that you can actually fly and you can shapeshift in your astral form. You can also decide, I want to run like a wolf, and boom, you become in this 4-legged wolf form. You can just become like a sphere soul thing and have full 360-degree astral vision. It's something that's talked about a lot in the books as well, even though it sounds completely fake, okay? You get 360-degree vision because if you actually think about it, it makes sense. In your physical body, yeah, you have 2 eyes, but when you're in your soul form or you astral project, whatever you want to call it, it's not like you're bound by just having 2 eyeballs. So you can literally see in 360-degree vision. Your astral body is flexible. Your thoughts are the control panel, basically. Because unlike the physical reality, like when you're in the astral plane, when you think of something, it instantly happens because space and time don't exist. That's what you have to understand. There is no space and time when you step out in the astral plane. So if you think of something like, I'm a wolf, boom, it just happens. It doesn't take time for anything to happen. If you look and think of the door, then boom, you're instantly at the door, okay? That's just so critical to understand. All right, reason 5, you can meet guides or entities, people call them. There's plenty of them. And there's also plenty of accounts of people reporting this, my own included, of running into beings that feel like teachers or guides or extremely advanced versions of you. That's getting kind of really deep into it, but it's true. Sometimes these guides just show up out of nowhere, and then they'll motion you to follow them. And then they'll take you on a journey that's like relevant to teach you exactly what you needed in that moment. It's like a lesson-based field trip for your soul. Okay, reason number 6, reconnect with lost loved ones. One of the most healing aspects people talk about, including in Bowman's work and his book and everything, is making contact with people who have passed away. Whether you frame it as like revisiting their consciousness in another dimension, or your mind creating them because you're all scientific, the emotional impact is real. You get closure, forgiveness, or just one more conversation with that person. And when you really start mastering OBEs, you can just keep doing them and continue conversations with past loved ones. This shit's amazing. I don't know why more people, they don't upload content about this. Reason 7, okay, reconnect with lost pets. This one hits hard. You can literally, in the astral plane, call out for your pets, and many people report their dogs, cats, whatever, sprinting up to them full of life and love. You feel their energy again. You get to hug them in a way that feels more real than any dream, and that is just another amazing reason why you want to start initiating these OBEs. Reason 8. This one's kind of crazy, okay? I know, and I've never experienced this myself, but there's thousands and thousands of reports from people worldwide, especially in these published books. Astral, I kind of hesitate to say this, but screw it. Astral body lovemaking. Yeah, we're going there. So, like, sex in the astral makes physical sex apparently feel like the demo version. You're not limited by like your muscles and skin. It's like energy merging is the way people describe it. It can feel way more intense, more expansive, and more like explosive than anything in the physical realm. Is it weird? Yes. Is it real enough that people come back and wake up from the OBE shaking? Also, yes. Now, as wild as all of that sounds, here's where we level up. Here's the thing, most people never even get to consistent OBEs. Maybe one random experience in their whole entire life, then that's it. A much smaller group learns to project, like astral project or have OBEs regularly. They explore the astral plane while they're alive. They meet guides, they fly, they do all of that. Okay, then you have people like me that I didn't even know it was happening, but I just got it spontaneously for some reason. I'm still learning about this stuff too, guys. I'm not some expert, I'm just reporting my experience, okay? Here's a problem. Most people don't even believe OBEs exist or that they're real. And then some people, like even fewer people, might have one their whole life, okay? You hear a lot of this in like combat with the soldiers in war. When you're really, really stressed out, sometimes, you know, they pop out of their body. So a lot of accounts in the books are from soldiers and veterans, rape victims as well, when they just have to disassociate and they literally leave their body as a protective mechanism. A lot of these like intense situations will trigger a spontaneous OBE. I'm not sure why I got them. I just, at night, I pop up and it would just happen. But the point here is that most people never even experience an OBE. Most people don't even believe it's true. And then there's even fewer people that try to train and then bring them out at will. Okay. But there is a level beyond an OBE. Some call it the higher self, or I've heard like the oversoul, whatever language you like, it doesn't really matter. And there are only like a handful of documented cases in the books I've read that line up where everyone has the same experience and it's a pattern. Okay, they all describe something like this. When you're in the astral plane and you're comfortable getting out of your body, okay, then you demand to experience your higher self. And you don't ask politely, you demand it from your core. You have to have conviction for this to work. But if you can pull it off, I never have yet, I'm working on it still, okay? The reports from people is that you instantly are shot upwards and it feels like being launched into space. Pressure builds apparently in your core and then you're just shot up. And then you're stretched out across everything, the whole universe, like your awareness is spread throughout the entire universe. So instead of visiting a place independently, because you can do that with OBEs too, the whole point of an OBE is that, yeah, you're separating from your body, but it's still your individual soul. So you can explore around a different dimension, and that's great if you can even do that. But the idea here with experiencing your higher self is that you're shot up, and then instead of experiencing a new place, you become the place. That's why people are reporting that it feels like your soul is spread out throughout the whole entire universe. You become all-knowing as well for a moment, and not in some like ego way, but because you're plugged in more closer to source or God, there's almost no difference between you and God in that state. Follow along with me here. I know it's getting confusing. People describe looking down at their hands or what used to be their hands and seeing a form glowing with golden light. And that's the pattern people are reporting when they're experiencing their higher self. And the feeling they get all the time reported is pure love, pure belonging, no fear, no doubt of anything. Just like, yes, this is what I really am. We're going to save that rabbit hole for the next video though, because the higher self experience, or the HSE, higher self experience, really just deserves its own deep dive YouTube video, right? So look, I get it. 99% of people are going to hear all of this, watch this video, and either not believe it or think I've gone way, way off the deep end. Honestly, I don't blame them. If I haven't lived this myself from age 6 onwards and only really realizing it when I was 24, I would probably be in the comments of this video calling cap too, saying it's all BS. But for the tiny percentage of you who are watching this and thinking, I've had this, I've heard the roaring in my head, I felt the vibrations before, I floated at the top of my ceiling. For some reason, that's the experience that like beginners always do. Like your first OBE, you'll always be in your ceiling for some reason. I don't know why, but if this has happened to you and you've said to yourself, yeah, I've seen my body before, in some perspective. You're the ones I made this video for. And at this point in my life, now that I'm like 30, I'm finally ready to connect with other people who've been dealing with this silently or who are actively exploring OBEs and the astral dimension. So here's what I want you to do. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video where we're going to go deep into the higher self phenomena, the HSE, which is the next level up beyond OBEs. Drop a comment if this has ever happened to you, or if you know someone who can consciously go out of their body, please tell their story in the comment. I've kept this to myself for decades. I've never talked about it, not even to some of my friends or family members, but I'm finally trying to open up now and just upload this into the universe because 100% of absolutely everything I just said is the truth. And the last thing I want you to do is join our free school group. That's going to be like our hub or our little like OBE clubhouse. Okay, we need somewhere to like interact with each other. So I started this free school group that's cool. I'll also hop on live in the school group from time to time so we can actually meet face to face on a live stream and then compare experiences and learn from each other. That's what I really want to do. This stuff might sound crazy, but if it's real for you, I just want you to know that you don't have to navigate it alone anymore the way I did for decades. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video, where we're going to aim a little higher and go straight for the higher self. See you on the next one. Are you down to talk to them about like what I went through when I was having spontaneous OBEs, how I acted during it, and like how long it took us to find out that it was a spontaneous OBE?
It happened for you like 3 or 4 times a week, and you used to wake me up saying that, oh, it's gonna start it again. So we didn't know what it's gonna start it again, but you told me that, and then you go back to your room upstairs, and over there waiting for me, you start just acting like with paranoia, just running from one side to the other, covering your ears, looking at me, but it seemed that you were seeing me.
Like I wasn't there?
Yeah, like you weren't there, but you were just covering your ears and just moving your head.
Oh, the ears.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. I would cover my ears?
You were covering your ears. And I said, what happened? And you were just looking at me with big eyes, but no response.
Oh my God. So it makes sense now. I didn't realize I covered my ears sometimes. That's because of the noise in my head. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm...
Exactly, because later on you told me when you could speak a little bit, it's the noise. It's the noise, Mom. You told me like that. It's the noise, but you're not going to understand it. It's scary. It's scary. It's too scary.
Wow. I don't even remember saying that.
But you see some faces, you see something, and I said, no, it's just the noise. Just the noise.
Wow. I don't even remember saying that.
No, because following day I was asking you for your experience of last night, and you never remember anything what happened.
Yeah, most of the times I didn't remember, right?
No.
It was just like too much. It was overwhelming. I thought that the whole floating thing was a dream for the longest time. Remember when I was floating in my corner in the ceiling and I was looking at myself grind my teeth? I told you that story?
Yeah, but I think before you started experiencing those nightmares, like the doctor used to tell me, oh, he have nightmares.
The night terrors?
Yes. You were always scared of noise. Like one time I took you to downtown for a motorcycle events, and I thought that you're going to be happy. You were around 8 or 9 years old.
When it started.
And immediately when all the motorcycles came, you start covering your ear and you escape. And you said, no,
Wow.
to go back home. We had to go back. I don't want to be here. I said,
and they were cool motorcycles.
of course, that's why I took you, because I said, the boy gonna like these events. It's motorcycles.
Right. The Harleys. You know, it's because it reminded me of the initiation stage.
Yes.
Because it was so loud, and because it sounded like that. It sounded like a whole group of Harleys doing that, but in your head, right?
I think so.
That's why I was like, oh no, it's this thing again. Wow, that's crazy.
But the thing is that it happened to you so often during the week that the doctor didn't have no explanation for that. That's why they say every child have nightmares.
Wow, stupid doctors.
They say, but this is no nightmares. This is like 3 or 4 times a week. I couldn't sleep at nights.
Sorry.
Could be at 9 o'clock when you go to bed and you fall asleep, or could be at 11 o'clock at night. But the funny thing for me was how this boy come downstairs, wake me up, and is telling me it's gonna start again, Mom.
That's because I was halfway. I was in the initiation stage, which is like I felt the vibrations there. I could feel time slipping away. And then I felt just different, like I was losing my body, but I was still kind of there. So you were my support system growing up. I didn't know what to do. I was freaking out. So I was like, I'm gonna go get my mom. So that's why I would always walk downstairs and come get you. You were my support back in that time.
Yeah, and after that the doctor couldn't help you. I tried to I found an Apache lady who said that I can do dream catchers.
The Native American?
And I can go to your house and put it in his room.
Yeah.
It helped a little bit, but still your nightmares, according to the doctor, didn't stop.
Yeah. Right. And you thought it was epilepsy, didn't you?
I thought that it was epilepsy. I thought that they said maybe something happened with your friend that you are so scared of, but you didn't want to tell me about it.
No.
I made a lot of assumptions because I didn't have no idea what's going on with you.
Yeah.
But you were so sensitive since you were a baby to people with a low energy. And I start connecting.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right.
Dude, it's so good. Oh, thank you.
Yo, Michelle, can you talk about how you thought I was possessed with demonic possession when I was having OBEs and freaking out?
Yeah, it was crazy.
Can you just say a little something?
Yeah, it would happen usually in the middle of the night, and he wasn't there, but he'd be there, and he would jump around.
What do you mean I wasn't there?
Like, it didn't seem like you were conscious. Your eyes were like, it felt as if fixed.
I was a ghost?
Yeah, it felt as if your body was there, but your soul was not in your body.
Right. But I was still like standing somehow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And then you thought I was possessed?
It seemed like a possession. It just didn't seem like you were in your body, and it seemed like you were somewhere else and you were really scared. And so that's what I thought.
Yeah.
It might have been.
And all along, I was just going through the initiation stage and not knowing that I was going through it. And it's, it's really freaky. But actually, the whole thing was positive. So there was no reason that I should have even been afraid. Interesting how things work when you're afraid of them.